Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a little bit of a different setup. I decided to make this video in my car because I just wanted to change up the scenery a little bit and I want it to be a little bit more comfortable today. We are going to be talking about a topic that is once again possibly going to be triggering for a lot of people, and that is about religion. And I know that so many people have their different belief systems and every single person is allowed to have their own beliefs. And I like to be very open-minded and non-judgmental, I don't know why I can't say that word, non-judgmental toward others and their belief systems. I personally think as long as you are a good person, you're trying to, show up in the world in the best way that you can, and you're not trying to hurt people, then I don't really care what you believe. So, with that being said, I think that the way that we are raised and the culture, the religion, the belief systems that we are, that are imprinted on us or that are pushed upon us or that our parents teach us at such a young age really do shape who we are, and they can affect our mental health in such a huge way. And this is because the first 7 years of our life are when we are programmed. This is when we are taking on our default programming or the subconscious beliefs that we're going to carry throughout our life. That doesn't mean that you cannot change them, but it is a default programming, meaning that it's going to be much more challenging to change those beliefs later in life. I grew up in a religion that was basically polygamy, and this specific religion, they call themselves Mormons. I'm not really sure where this would sit as far as the label or what to call it, because there are so many different things that this specific belief system pulls in from just different religions. And I do notice that most religions have a little bit of truth, within each one, and so every single one is unique, but you can kind of find little similarities in most of them. It was a polygamous religion where the men are allowed to have more than one wife, and the teachings are very similar to that of the Mormon church, but there are also a lot of differences, and I can kind of touch on those a little bit because I know that probably more people are familiar with Mormonism and kind of how that works, and I think less people are familiar with things like polygamy or religions that are, I guess, a little bit more unique or just a lot different than the mainstream. The things that I grew up believing were things like God was this man in the sky, or this being that is up in heaven who wants us to do our best but will punish us for not doing the right thing. Kind of similar to Christianity in a lot of ways, where you sin, and if you're sinning, you're going to be punished for it, or something bad is going to happen to you, and that God sees you differently when you sin versus when you are a good person. This, to me, is a false belief, and let me explain. The reason why I don't believe this is true is because I think that God loves all of his children, his, her, whatever you want to call it, God, universe, source, divine. I don't necessarily put a label on it just because that's my own belief system. And what I've found is that I prefer to believe that God does not punish, and that we are all loved unconditionally, and that the only thing that you can do is make your own choices, and based on your own choices, you're basically going to receive consequences for your actions. That is how I see things, not in terms of God punishing you for anything. I don't think that there's someone in the sky who is looking down on us, punishing us for things that we're doing. Hey friends, so I'm back. I had to change scenery because my phone overheated in my car. So we're just gonna continue on in my bedroom. So I know that I was just speaking on my perspective on what I believe, or how I believe religion affects us, and how I think it affects our mental health. And just to expand on that a little bit more, every single core belief that we have that has been programmed into us at such an early age really does affect the way that we see the world. And I can say from my personal experience, the way that I viewed the world was through the lens of lack, of poverty, of viewing everything as like I was a victim, and I was just like, poor me, life sucks and God's always trying to punish me, and everything it seemed like was through this lens of like, I don't know, just almost like a cloud was always over me, and it was like frowned upon to be fully happy. It was frowned upon to, you know, love yourself and to enjoy things like play and pleasure and things that were a lot more, you know, that we're kind of naturally drawn towards as human beings. We try to avoid pain and go toward pleasure, but when you're taught at such a young age that that is wrong, it really starts to mess with your mind, and you start to, you know, play games with yourself in your head of like, oh, you know, I want to do this thing, but because of old programming, it's like pushing me toward the thing that's maybe more toxic, or always steering my brain in the way of looking at how life is, you know, like the glass is half empty and that things are hard, life is hard, and, you know, if I do this, that God's gonna punish me or whatever. And so all of these things that, or these ways that we see the world are programmed into us at such a young age, something that we can say we don't have control over. But in my personal opinion, you know, I believe that we all chose to experience the life that we're living. And that's just a more empowering way to look at it. If you look at things like, I chose this life, I chose my parents, I chose my family, I chose everyone, you know, who comes into my life to teach me lessons. You're able to be, you know, in an empowered state and in your power so that you can learn what you need to learn from it and move on, instead of being stuck in old patterning of, woe is me, this sucks, like so-and-so did this to me, like I was born into this family, and, you know, God doesn't like me because, you know, I had the shit end of the stick. But it's not like that at all. You are blessed with obstacles and challenges to make you stronger, to shape you into who you're supposed to be. And that's just how I choose to view it, because it makes me feel a lot better. It makes me more empowered and has allowed me to get out of old ways of viewing the world, and has gotten me out of mental health problems. It has helped me get out of depression, because when I was going through my depression, it was because I was constantly looking at myself and saying, wow, I really did have a hard life, you know, my parents made me feel this way, and I had a challenging relationship with my dad, and I was basically raised in this religion that could be considered a cult, because a cult is something, you know, a group or an organization that all believe the same thing. It's just, you have to do what resonates with you. It just happened that that religion wasn't in alignment with me. So I chose to move on. That doesn't mean that there are not people who need to go through those experiences to learn, to grow, and that's what they're supposed to do. More power to them. But for me, it wasn't truth. So many things that I was taught did not add up. So many things that I brought up around felt toxic to me. It felt that abuse and that manipulation and lying and fear wasn't my forte. I didn't enjoy being around that energy, and I know that it can be hard for a lot of people to even step out or to question their belief systems, because it does feel like you're questioning your foundation, because you are. You're questioning what your entire life has been built upon, and that means that you're going to go through an identity crisis. And an identity crisis is not easy. A lot of people don't go through these things until they're in their 40s or their 50s or later in their life, and I don't personally want to go through that when I'm later in life. I'm grateful that I went through it now to, you know, see the truth of situations and see the truth of how I was raised, and realizing that that wasn't based on love. It wasn't based on truth, in my opinion, because truth makes sense. Love feels good. And when something doesn't feel good to you, something probably isn't right about it. That is something that we're all blessed with, is intuition. You know, we all have a conscience, and you're gonna know based on how you feel whether something is right for you or not. And that's why I'm making this video today, is to bring light to the fact that you're not a bad person because you choose to leave a religion or a society, a community, or a belief system that you were raised around. And it can be so hard. It can be so challenging to leave behind people and beliefs from the past because we have so much attached to them. We have so much meaning that we attach to those things and memories, but there's so much growth and evolution and happiness that lies on the other side of fear. And when your soul is urging you to step out, to take a leap of faith in the direction that you're being called to go, you're going to have so many blessings come from that. So if you are in a situation like I was 4 or 5 years ago, where you did not know whether or not you could do it, you didn't know what was going to happen if you left behind everything you ever knew, you know? And for me personally, I literally had to leave behind everything. The way I grew up, I only had family. We were not allowed to associate with people that were outside of the religion. And what that meant for me was I didn't necessarily know how to associate with people. I didn't know how to be out in the world. I didn't even know a lot of things that I know now because I stepped out. A lot of things that I thought were true that aren't. Because when you're, you know, the curtains are all around you and you cannot see outside of your little bubble, you have no idea. And all you can go based on is what other people are telling you. So you have to experience those things for yourself and trust, because it is a big step and it is challenging to, you know, disappoint your parents possibly, or maybe you're gonna lose family members or friends from your past. But when you are surrounding yourself with the right people, those people are gonna love you no matter what. Those people will support you. And the people who are supposed to be in your life will stay in your life. And I would say that another thing too is don't keep people around you who are familiar just because that energy, you're used to that energy from childhood, or you're used to that energy because, you know, they're family, and you're making excuses for people being toxic in your life, because that's only gonna hold you back too. You really do have to learn to distance yourself, because you can still love people from a distance. You know, you can still love people and choose to not be around them. And I've done that in my own life. I've had to forgive people who've hurt me. And it's not that I hate them. I still love them, but I'm loving them from a distance because I know that me being around them is gonna drain me. I know that me being around them is toxic because it doesn't bring me any good energy in my life, and I don't wanna be around people who tear me down. So surround yourself with the right people. Understand that when you let go of things, when you let go of people and belief systems, and you get yourself out of things that are not in alignment with you, things are going to fall away. People are gonna leave your life, and that's completely normal because you're growing and you're learning. And if those people choose to learn and grow with you, awesome. You can bring them along with you. But you have to know that the focus needs to be on you first. You have to look within yourself and be like, okay, I need to focus on my own journey and my own path, because we can't constantly be focusing on other people because we're not living our own life. We're living the lives of what mom and dad wanted us to live, or grandpa and grandma wanted us to live, or we're following these traditions blindly that we may not even want to live, but we're just continuing that family pattern because that's what everyone else used to do. But when do we get to step in and say, no, I want to do something different. I want to live a different life. I want to be wealthy. I want to have good relationships in my life. I want to live my life full of adventure and fun, and not live in pain and in fear and in poverty anymore. Because we have to step up at some point and be like, no, no more. No more BS. No more pain. I'm not going to go through these mental health problems anymore. And you have to be the one to stand up for yourself. And it all comes back to self-awareness, doing the work on yourself, finding a therapist or a healer or somebody who can help you identify the patterns that are not serving you anymore. Because you may not even think you have patterns, but we are all made up of the programming and the belief systems from our past. That is why it's so profound and amazing to grow as a human being, because you can literally transform who you used to be by identifying the patterning that you thought you were. The patterning of, you know, I'm not enough, I'm just, you know, my family was always broke, so I'm gonna be broke. Or I just, you know, I'm not good enough to attract a, you know, a respectful man. I don't deserve someone who treats me right. That's all freaking beliefs. It's all crap. It's all things that you're telling yourself in your head that aren't even true. So you might need someone in your life who can see that, who can shout it out and be like, yes, I'm a good friend. I want to be honest with you and let you know that you're holding yourself back. You're living a life less than you're deserving of. You deserve to have an amazing life. And it all comes down to you accepting and believing that. And that is why I make these videos, so that I can show you guys and bring light to these things, because so many people don't even know. We're in our day-to-day life and we're so comfortable, and you know, a lot of us aren't even happy. We're just going through the day, or we're going through our life, and then we get years down the road and we're like, well, I'm still not happy. Why am I so like unfulfilled? You know, my job sucks, this and that and this. Look within. Are you getting the things that you want in your life? It's just a question to ask. I had to ask myself these things and get serious with myself, because a lot of my mental health problems and my struggles in my life came from that. It came from all this baggage that I carried with me from my past that was not serving me anymore. The beliefs around, you know, everything, like all of these things that you want in your life, all of these goals that you're wanting to achieve, you can get there. The only thing that's blocking that from coming into your life right now is that subconscious programming. So if you can become aware of it, release it, let it go, then you step into who you are, who you want to be, and then you naturally bring that into your life. Because we are naturally manifestors. We are naturally co-creating with life, and we naturally receive. But if you don't allow yourself to receive the goodness, if you don't believe you're worthy of it, it ain't gonna come into your life. And if it does, you're gonna sabotage, or you'll push it away and believe it's not even true. And this is another reason why I'm offering coaching, because I want to step out there and I want to show people, I want to coach people on how it is that they can get to where they want to be, how you can grow as a person, how you can get unstuck, how to finally change the course of your life, how to get out of depression, how to stop feeling anxious, because all of these things are just baggage, beliefs in the back of your head. Those little demons or the little shadows in the back that you maybe can't see. Other people might be able to see them, but maybe they're not speaking them or being the person to bring that to your attention. But that is why I want to help you guys. And if you guys are interested in coaching with me and doing a one-on-one session, that I will leave my information below. And I always want to hear from you guys too in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on what it is that I speak about, and if it resonates with you, or maybe even just let me know some of the things that you're struggling with in your life, and we can kind of start a little conversation in the comments, because I want to build a community of people here who feel safe, who feel like they're empowered, and a community who can stick together and to build each other up. And that is what I want my channel to be. And as always, I thank you guys for watching this video. Like and subscribe helps my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.